as if I wanted or needed to do this again. This is a G profile refrigerator. This is like the fourth time that I've had to do this. I'm gonna chalk it up to a design issue, right? But this is what's going on. There's no display, right? The refrigerator light's on. I don't dare open the freezer because we got stuff in here and it's gonna let all the cold out, right? Or the heat in, whichever way you look at it. I'm pretty sure I know what's going on with this. Over and over and over again. There is a board back in here, which I'm gonna have to expose right behind that panel in the back. Anyways, the thing swells these capacitors in the back, and then they stop working. And I've repaired this by replacing the capacitors a couple times, 3 times as a matter of fact. And each time I've got it back working. I can buy the board for like $90 or $150 depending. They used to be, at the time I started repairing this, they were like $350, and that's why I didn't do it. So anyways, I'm gonna pull it back apart and look at those swelled caps. I'd like to order just another board this time because I don't want to buy another refrigerator. This one just sits out in the garage. So anyways, that's what we're doing today. So I'm at the back of it, and basically these are, what are they, 1/4 inch? Yeah, 1/4 inch nut driver. Anyways, the one thing about a refrigerator, or any appliance for that matter, is you don't want your repair guys doing a major job inside of a customer's house. So the other thing is they make these things super, super cheap. And what I mean by that is they don't use the best components. I mean, look at this cover. This isn't some really awesome cover that somebody developed. This is nothing more than a piece of stamped metal, right? So anyways, it's in here all flimsy. And then it's just got this, like, this isn't what I would call a quality item. But that being said, so I still got power on here, so I'm not gonna be touching a bunch of stuff. You can see that there's other cables and stuff that are not hooked up, and we need to be cognizant of those because they're either for another model or something else, right? Anyhow, so this is the board that keeps going bad. And if you look at it right there, those capacitors, see how they're stuffed out a little bit? Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Now, it used to be that I could go down to Radio Shack and buy these, and that's not so much the case anymore. But I can already see that they're swollen. The better thing to do is just buy another one of these boards. I'm tired of messing with this. It must be a design issue because it keeps blowing the capacitors. So either they're not rated for it or whatever's going on, I don't know. But this board is not, it's not that expensive now. Like I said, it used to be $350, but now it's only like, I saw one on Amazon for $99 and the other one for like $150. I need to make sure, I believe right there, I'm gonna have to zoom in on this, but I think that that's the part number. Right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a picture of that, and I'm gonna go do some research, and then also these capacitors. I'm probably just gonna pull the board out, to be honest with you. But I think right now, realistically, what's going on is like the blower motor and stuff is not working, and I could be wrong, but this is probably, this could be main power coming in, or it could be power coming out to drive the compressor. I don't know yet. Anyhow, other than that, I'm just gonna pull it apart. I'm gonna take a look at this, and chances are it's shot and just needs to be replaced. This is the control board that I pulled out of the refrigerator, and it's this model number right here, 200D4852G010. And there's a newer revision of this board. It's not manufactured by them, and that's probably a good thing. I think that there's a design issue because if you look at these capacitors, see how they're kind of dome shaped, right? See how they're sticking up versus these that are not sticking up, right? These are swollen and these are bad. I'm sure that they're bad. I've had to replace these a couple times, and they're not that expensive. And if you have a soldering iron, they're not that bad. That being said, this is like the 3rd time that this thing has failed, and I'm kind of sick of it. So I ordered another board. This is a revision board. All right, so basically what this is saying is something along the lines of make sure that you've got the right board and make sure that you troubleshot it. I'm not having a problem with the fan or anything like that. It just ends up doing this, and like we didn't blow a fuse, we didn't do anything like that. A lot of the other stuff works, whatever the reason. So I bought this other board. It's in basically this is anti-static packaging, and this is really easy to do. You just need to make sure that you got the right one. I called one of the places. Actually, I was on chat with them, and I was asking them which board it was, which revision, and they gave me one, but they wanted like $450 for that board. And I was like, no, I'm not going to pay that. So I found this other model, and it was $150, right, with tax and shipping and everything, right? So this is what I'm going to put in. I'm going to pull this apart and make sure that it works. And realistically, these things are not hard to put in. You need a 1/4-inch nut driver, maybe some pliers if it gets hung up, but you don't even need those. You can do it with your hands. This is the new board, and it doesn't have the sticker on it. All right, so there's installation instructions. It's pretty straightforward, right? But anyhow, this should be the right board. Physically, it looks identical. There's a couple like really subtle things, like you notice like that relay's yellow, and this one's not, right? Little subtle things, but all the connections are right. I'm also noticing that this right here is not. I don't know what that's about. This one is basically, it's got an earth ground on it. Here, let me flip it around. Okay, so it's basically, it says earth on it, right? And then there's another one right here. And they gave a jumper, right? Realistically, I could use this one as well. I could just pull these off and reuse it because this one's centered, but I mean, it really is the same thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna attach these, and then we're gonna go to the refrigerator and install it and see if everything works. Okay, so a couple of these I'm gonna go and I'm gonna plug in beforehand. Simply like this one right here is really hard to do after the fact. So that's plugged in. Plug in this one as well. This is gonna go up in here on this grounding strap. And then we got a couple of these. There are a couple of these that were not hooked up, but these little standoffs, all I have to do is push it up in here carefully and then line the standoffs up with the pins and just push it into place. And that's it. It just snaps in. There's nothing special about it. I use needle nose pliers to pull it out. This is power, right? And you shouldn't be able to mix these up. There's wire memory in here, right? So they're not the same. You can't plug them into the wrong spot. Okay. All right, now a couple of these I know were unplugged, so I'm not gonna worry about that. I've got all the other wires, and then I just have the ground wire. Like this one right here, you can see it's a different style. It won't plug in here, right? Also, I took pictures of these beforehand, so I wouldn't be confused. Okay, so anyways, I am going to put the ground cable in, which is this one right here, right? So this is a little short. Or do I have it upside down? Yeah, I got it upside down. Yeah, it's still a little short. See it? Probably would have been better off using the other one, but I'm just gonna go ahead. These things are a lot harder to get out once you put them in. You know what? I don't care. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna run this one to here. This is just a chassis ground. I don't have to have it in the same spot, right? So I can go ahead and put it right here. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to grab my cover. Just going to get this one started. Push this one back into place. Okay, I'll put the rest of these on, but bottom line is the display wasn't working as I filmed beforehand. So what we're going to do next is we're going to plug it in and hope there's no sparks. Okay. All right, so anyways, this right here, this temperature, the light would come on, but the temperature wouldn't come on, and the fan wouldn't come on. Right, so right now, this is a brand new board. It's never been programmed. 80 degrees. Freezer temperature. Oh, I don't even know what you set it at. -6 degrees, I don't know. And then this one, 90 degrees. I want this one at what? I don't want it frozen, so let's say 36 degrees. All right, so there's the temperature, -6. And then there's this one, which is, if I touch it, that's the other one. So I don't think that I want this at -6. Whatever. Okay, so I'm going to close it and we're going to see if it cools. Everything seems to be working. So the sad thing is, this cost us about $500 in food. This thing was completely full of meat. The whole thing was full of meat. We threw 2.5 garbage bags full of meat. And right now, as you can probably imagine, there's an odor to it. You can see that the bacteria is already starting to grow in there. So we didn't want to take any chances. So yeah. Anyways, back up and running. I'm going to keep that other board, and I'm going to order a pair of capacitors just in case this one goes out, because if it does go out again, I'll have one on hand. So like I said, this is a G profile, and as far as the model number is concerned, it's this right here. So it's specifically, it is a PSF2 6NGPBB. That's what it is, right? So if you guys have this issue, that control board goes back out, and the symptoms are the lights will be on, but the display will be dead. So hopefully this will help somebody out in the future.